Hi, I'm Paul Tapner, and this is a quick review of the week that I've just had at Badminton 3-day event. So, for Badminton, for the riders, this year we started, well, our week starts on the Wednesday. We arrived Wednesday, middle of the day. For us, as the Tapner event team, our week was slightly complicated because my wife was also riding in the Grassroots Championships. So we had 3 horses on the lorry. We had Okie Dokie, Stormhill Michael, and I Know Nothing. So first port of call on Wednesday was to go to the Grassroots site and drop off Okie Dokie and set up camp there for him in all of the tack and equipment that he needed there to be stabled there. We then had to drive to the main event site and unload all of the horses there and go through all the paperwork of getting the passports checked and making sure we've got the right horses on and the right passports and all that sort of thing, and getting settled into the stables. And then after that we then have to go and get our own home settled in, so a matter of finding a nice field to or a nice tree to park under in the lorry in a field in the village of Badminton. And it takes up quite a lot of the day on Wednesday, is just settling in terms of getting the horses into the stables and getting us into our home for the week. So after we've done that, of course we don't have a lot to do on the Thursday except for the trot up in the afternoon. So all the riders get there and we have a bit of a barbecue on the Wednesday evening and a little bit of a drinks party at Toddy's lorry, where we had such people at that particular barbecue as Zara Phillips, William Fox-Pitt, Joe Meyer, Mark Todd, Dan Jocelyn, Bruce Haskell and Daisy Barkley. And I apologise to any other riders if they were there and I've forgotten about them. Oh, and Elizabeth Power. So we had a nice little get together there and a few jokes about who was going to win and who was not going to win. And Daisy and I decided, Daisy Barkley and I decided that we both of us deserved a podium place. We didn't care which order it was going to be on, but we both wanted to be on the podium together. Little did we know on the following Monday evening that we certainly would be. So that was the start of our week. The next day, first up, I was riding I Know Nothing. Had a lesson with my national coach, Wayne Roycroft, up in the park. That was then followed by the riders' briefing, which happens in the Badminton Village Hall at about midday, and it's where Hugh Thomas introduces us to the ground jury and all the officials for the week and tells us what we can and can't do within reason. Straight from that we go and walk the course for the first time, do our first course walk, and certainly when I walked the course I thought it was going to be a fairly tough track. It gave me a very similar feeling to what was there 2 years ago when it was just as great spectator viewing on the Saturday. So after we walked the course, we then got to get ready for the trot up. And of course, for the spectator's point of view, that's the first thing that most of you guys see. And my horses both trotted up perfectly. It's always a little bit stressful, you know, it's got to get through that first phase. But certainly they both did just fine. And then after the trot up, I rode Stormhill Michael and again had a lesson with Wayne, my national coach. So that's the Thursday. Friday, obviously first day of dressage. Just to complicate things on the Thursday, in between all of that, first up in the morning, we actually had to do Okie Dokie's dressage test over at the Grassroots. So Thursday was actually very hectic. Georgina, my wife, did a fantastic test over there, and I was able to watch and help her do that. So that was quite nice that it was on the Thursday when all I had to do was, in theory, do the trot up in the afternoon. So, first day of dressage on the Friday. That also represented Okie Dokie's show jumping and cross country. So while I went off and did my dressage on Michael, and was a little bit disappointed in my test, but you know, he's not an experienced horse at that level yet. Certainly more to come. He did an okay test. Straight away from doing my test with Stormhill Michael, I jumped in a car, whizzed over to the Grassroots site, and still in my top hat and tails, helped my wife Georgina do her show jumping around, or get ready for her show jumping around and support her there. So that was great. She did a good round there, and then We then proceeded to help her, and she went off and did her cross-country round, which she had great fun doing. And so Saturday, second dressage day, slightly easier for me because the grassroots had finished, and also I only had I Know Nothing's competition. Stormy and Michael in theory has a day off, so we only had to give him a light jump in the afternoon. I rode I Know Nothing just briefly each time, but 3 times that day, once in the morning, once in the middle of the day, and then the third time for his actual test. Pulled off a fantastic test, really happy with that, and that certainly got me pumped up for the rest of the week. Early to bed that night, and we had a cross-country course walk, which I can't remember was on the Friday. I'm backtracking now, back to the board. It's all a bit of a blur. But we also did a charity cross-country course walk on the Friday evening for supporting Cancer Research UK, and also the nominated charity of Badminton this year, which was the World Horse Welfare. And we raised about £500 for those charities, doing a guided course walk. So certainly probably do one of those again next year, and hopefully raise an even vaster amount for Cancer Research UK, who is the nominated charity for Badminton next year. So that brings us to Cross Country Day, and first up was Michael. He was awesome across country. Made a couple of little errors, which meant I had to take a couple of unplanned long routes. But, you know, got home on him, and at the time when he was second place behind Mary King, which was fantastic. Then after Stormy or Michael's cross-country round, I was pretty pumped up and full of adrenaline, so I stayed in the riders' marquee and watched a lot of the action on the CCTV and watched everything going on until I cooled down a bit. Then by that stage it was about the middle of the day, so I went back to the riders' canteen area, and they just happened to be serving a roast meal that day, and I had a beautiful, very large roast meal. After which, of course, I felt a little sleepy, so I had to go back to the lorry and have a bit of a nap, which my kids joined me in doing. And after that, alarm goes off, up I get, cup of coffee, and on to I Know Nothing. I was fairly aware of the carnage that had been caused by the course, and was aware that if I finished on my dressage score, I'd go into the lead. So all of a sudden the focus changed for me from doing the best I could on my 2 horses to winning the event. To me, the door had been opened, and I thought, right, got to go for it. So the focus all of a sudden changed into trying to win, and I Know Nothing was a superstar across country, just a 1 second over time, and you know, obviously into the lead. Certainly once I got into the lead, I wasn't going to let it go. So lots of focused preparation for myself after that. Lots of press conferences and requirements on my time in that respect. Then Monday, show jumping day, just trying to stay focused, stay a little bit busy, give myself lots of things to do, and be very focused on doing the job at hand, which fortunately I was able to do. Both horses jumped fantastic clear rounds, and then from then on in, the whirlwind starts of the celebrations and the press attention and everything, and of course that was the end of my week at Badminton, which was pretty amazing.